Real life street star. Oh man, we got him back. We told you it wouldn't take that long. Real life lawyer back in the building, man.
Glad to be back, man. Glad to be back. Glad to be back in Dallas.
I know you be moving around, bro.
Paper chasing.
Yeah.
Trying to do the work of for the people, man.
You stay doing the work for the people. Again, I was with you. I saw what you do for the community. Big up to you and your whole team. Is there any update on that? Is there anything that anybody that supports you can do to help or anything like that?
Well, funny you should say that, man. For anybody who is watching, check out Public Justice. A lot of people don't know that there's a nonprofit law firm out there that really does a great job at supporting things like the Black farmers. When all the other farmers got aid, Black farmers didn't get the same funding and didn't get the same assistance. Well, Public Justice, along with several other law firms, jumped in and helped out. And right now, with whether you're the LGBTQ community or you are a federal employee, Public Justice and other law firms have jumped in to support the community. So, and water contamination in the hood. So, great organization. I ask you to check it out, and you can become a member for as little as $25 in support.
That's dope. That's dope. Last time you were on here, man, you broke down a lot of things that actually we're starting to see the progression of it, right? Mm-hmm. One of those things, and I want to touch on this, was the NBA, right? You kind of eloquently broke down the NBA scandal, what could happen, what couldn't happen. Is there an update that you've seen on, we haven't really heard anything about the Chauncey Billups per se, but is there anything that you've seen personally that you can touch on or update?
I think right now it's in the simmer process, right? Because I told you they have what is deemed as the mob that's involved in this. And then you have these basketball players. I think all of them have pled not guilty to these cases, but the evidence is pretty damaging. If you were in this room and you knew that these tables were electronically rigged, the cards, if you knew any of that was happening and you invited these people, it's going to be really hard for you to kind of back out of that and say that you had clean hands. And so I'll use that term a lot. Clean hands means basically, in the legal term, that you didn't have anything to do with this. You didn't help it progress. You didn't initiate it. And so therefore you have clean hands in that regard. And it's going to be really difficult for them to say that on this level, on that level. But I am really curious to see if it goes outside of that network of quote unquote mobsters that were involved.
One of the theories that Gilbert Arenas threw out there was that the mafia end up flipping some of these guys when they were just playing regularly. Like they might have came in there playing regularly and got duped by one of these quote unquote mafia guys and then kind of got drawn into the system unknowingly. Do you buy that, or do you feel like they sought out to do this?
I don't think they sought out. I think we talked about it last time, right? I mean, let's just be honest. The average person is susceptible to being introduced into the lifestyle. And the Black community, who do we idolize, right? In the 80s and 90s, everyone had a Scarface poster. We still buy Scarface shirts. And so when you think, and we like The Godfather, and when one of these individuals come in and you know that they are part of that life, you get intrigued. And so, and I talked about it as far as, anything that is nefarious, is that you step into a room and there's money, drugs, and women running around. And for women, guys with money walking around. You start creating that atmosphere of, as we say, things popping off.
Right.
And so I think when you get it, those guys, when they get into that room, right? I'm a superstar here, but now I'm rolling with these guys. Like I'm invincible in a sense. Like you can't mess with me, right? someone says something smart to me. I'm telling my man John, and all of a sudden, they not around anymore, or they're not harassing me anymore.
Yeah.
So that's that lure that get people caught up all the time.
I'm just curious, you being in the positions you're in, right? What is one of the craziest gambling scenarios you've seen?
Hypothetically.
Allegedly.
Man, athletes love to gamble. They do. I mean, let's not even say athletes, right? Those of us with money, not everybody, okay? Not everybody. But one of the amigos got murdered during a gambling session. Right? And so it's just something about that culture. And I mean, all of us at some point was introduced to gambling, right? Unless you just completely squared off and away from everyone in the community. But it started off with us throwing who can get to the closest to the wall with a penny, then a quarter, then a nickel. Then somebody's brother introduced them to dice. They introduced us to dice. Then it goes from us playing spade.
Yeah.
And then it just this transformation in moving forward in gambling habits. I don't personally gamble on anything but me because I always win. So
that should be on a shirt.
Yeah.
if I have to spend money on gambling on something, I'm gonna spend it on me versus, spending on a game of chance.
I just got to ask you just one last question on that gambling thing. With the fact that gambling is moving to the phones, I mean, we're sports gambling right here before you got in here, right? It's just so easy. Do you foresee a day where it's going to render Vegas obsolete?
No.
Okay.
No. It's you can. All right, don't kill me on this one. You can get porn on your phone.
Yeah.
But that ain't gonna never stop people from going to the strip club.
I don't know. The strip club ain't as packed as it. It's like if you were to play back like what it was back then versus now, you could see even like the baddest girls don't be stripping no more. They're making so much money
on the
they're making so much money online.
You're right about that. You're right about that. But there's still that need to be
in person.
There to be in the space.
Yeah.
Right? It's that need to be in the space.
Unless there's like second COVID, then then it's gonna get worse.
Look here, man. COVID couldn't even stop it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
COVID couldn't stop it.
You're right. They was trying to figure it out, boy.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just always that need to be in the room and to touch those chips, to touch the cards. I'm the worst gambler because I wanted to place a bet on Texas A&M making it to the CFP. The odds were 3,000 to 1. I was going to bet $1,000. But I don't know how to bet. And so then we beat Notre Dame, and then after that, now chances are probably a good 70% that we're gonna make it. So I'm the worst gambler out there because I don't really know how.
Right. Last time we were here, right, we talked about the singer David. I kind of threw you on the spot, so you didn't have necessarily all the information, but you definitely predicted that the prosecutors were smart in not attacking him too quickly. Now that you've kind of researched a little bit, can you give us an update on this whole David situation? Now they're actually saying that he's a suspect now, according to blogs. It might have been clickbait, but that's what I've read. So what do you see?
So TMZ reported that he's a suspect based on a largely part on, I think, this area called Spring.
Right.
He spent several hours in this location. So when you think about it, I think it's one of two things. Either A, she had some connection there. It may have been there that night. B, they said the body was chopped up in such a way that he could not have done it himself. And you say to yourself, well, how do they know that? Well, if you look at all the cuts on the body, forensics can tell if somebody who was right-handed did it, if somebody who was left-handed did it. They can look at the height based on the angle of the cuts. There's lots of ways for them to see. And if they see that there are multiple cuts that are done or seem to been done by different individuals, that would lead them to multiple people. That's the first thing. And I was a little leery in the fact that they talked to a detective or someone in the police department that would tell them that. They do that for one or two reasons. Number one, they don't have what they need. So now they're going to say, for example, if something happened in Oak Cliff, Texas, or let's say Oak Cliff, which is part of Dallas, and they said, hey, look, so-and-so was in Oak Cliff on this date for this period of time. If any of his potential co-defendants live in that area or were known to live in that area, that's a dog whistle to say, we know you were there. We can't find you, so you might need to lawyer up and come see us before we find you. And so it might be a tactic in which they're using this report to flush out other potential co-defendants.
Right.
So we'll see, because normally something like that just doesn't come out.
Right.
Like there's no need for that to come out, other than if you want something for public consumption, it's usually a dog whistle to someone who may have information that you want them to come in and talk about it.
So help me to understand, right? Because for the outside looking in, right?
Right.
For just the regular casual person, this looks like an open shut case.
Right.
So the outrage is coming because, you know, they thought these trigger words like underage girl, she might have been pregnant, she was chopped up. When you just hear underage girl chopped up in trunk, like that's like the worst of the worst you can think of. And you're like, how is somebody making songs about it and still free? Like, it just seems so unfair. You know what I mean? Like, usually we see people get arrested for less quicker. So why do you think it's going this particular way?
Smart prosecutors take their time, man.
Yeah.
You know, dot all their I's, cross all their T's to make sure that they have it a solid case.
Right.
A solid case. And so if you rush in, right? Let's say you rush in on a case and you think you have me. You think you have me, or you think you have my client, and there are pieces missing. If I can get past those and get a judge to dismiss this case, then you're dead. You're cooked because of double jeopardy. You can't come back to me for this case. And you said it yourself. Underage girl or woman and chopped up, murdered.
Crazy.
If you mess up on this case, what do you think the outrage would be?
Yeah, good point. Good point.
You got to make sure you're solid.
That's crazy. Now we have to talk about, you know, this whole situation with, let's say the shutdown got shut down, right?
Right.
But bigger than that, right? This whole Epstein file thing, right? It's so crazy because I actually end up watching the documentary on the Epstein to understand how sick this thing was, right?
Yeah.
It's like human trafficking on a whole nasty, perverted, crazy level, right?
Exactly.
So I always was wondering, why do they keep saying release the files, release the files? Number one, do you think they're actually gonna release the files? There was a video showing that they actually, I don't know if it was in the Senate, that they said, oh, we're gonna release the files. Do you actually think that's gonna happen?
Yeah, I think it will, unless. So this is why I lean on my experience in working as a parliamentarian in the House. All the momentum can be for them to release the documents. However, there could be a procedural mishap that prevents them from doing it. And so there's a couple of theories out there. And the procedural aspect of it, it can always be remedied in most cases, but you just have to take a look and see what issues were there. But one of the things that they're saying is because of what they're voting on actually states, as long as there's not an ongoing investigation, then the files can be released. So we can vote to release the files, but if there's an ongoing investigation, then the Department of Justice is not releasing those files until they conclude their investigation. The same thing happens in any criminal case in which, you know, like people, like for example, some of you guys may know someone, not saying you, but they got arrested and their car got impounded. They got out of jail and went to go get their car, but the police said, it's an ongoing investigation, you can't have your car. It's an ongoing investigation, you can't have your phone. It's an ongoing investigation, you can't have your laptop. And so that term prevents anything like that from being made public.
Damn. So let's play this out, right?
Right.
Let's say they do release it. And let's say the president's in there.
Right.
What happens? Can anything happen? Can he pardon himself?
So a couple of friends of mine, lawyers, have gone back and forth on what he can and cannot do. If he can pardon himself, chances are he will. If by chance he can't pardon himself, one of the things that he can do, and I don't know procedurally the timing of what would need to take place, but if he stepped down and J.D. Vance became the president, J.D. could pardon him if he couldn't pardon himself. So either way it goes, he's kind of in the bird dog seat to potentially take care of himself if anything should happen. And
Can they press charges for them being on a list?
No, you can't press charges for people. I mean, because what is the list? Is the list people who just knew him? Is the list people who were on the island?
Right.
And people who visited? I mean, you can't put anyone on a list because of that, right? Because you think about it, using cases dealing with the Boy Scouts or the Catholic Church. The fact that I went to this church, am I part of the problem? Was I in collusion with them actually doing this just because I attended there or I went there? No. So the same thing can be said about visiting the island. I mean, he had many legal business dealings outside of what he was doing in his personal life or what he was doing illegal. So I don't think that's enough. They're going to have to show more than that.
Got you. Number two, one of the things that I wondered was, God forbid, but let's say Obama was on there or somebody that we revere. What would the fallout be then?
I mean, you're going to always have people who don't like him, who are going to throw sticks and stones. But you think about it. Let's say Epstein had an event at his island that was a fundraiser and people came in. According to the list, all of these people are on the island. But the flip side of that was none of these young women were on the island, or the young girls were on the island at the same time. And so these individuals flew in and flew out. The difference is when there's not such a large social event happening and there are only a few, predominantly all men, who've flown to the island, then that's something that they'll be looking at as far as the investigation is concerned.
Man, that's interesting. One of the things from the shutdown that happened, right, is Trump proposed a 50-year mortgage, and there was outrage. Now, I didn't understand the outrage because you could always have option. I mean, if they're just giving the option on the table, it's just an option. But number one, you had something interesting about the 50-year mortgage that you wanted to say. Let me break that down.
Yeah, 50-year mortgages aren't really anything that's new. You have places like California, in which the cost of living is so high. A typical house, a $300,000 home here in Texas or in Dallas, which would take someone anywhere between 30 or 24 to 30 years to pay off, on an average or regular income, or even above average income, would take them 30. Well, that same home in which someone who makes $60,000 or $80,000 a year would be able to purchase, here, that same person making that type of money in California would need 60 years in order to pay that off, or 50 years in order to pay that off. And so it's not uncommon in California to have mortgages that are that lengthy, because they needed to do it to allow more people in order for more people to buy houses.
So let me ask you this: is the outrage unjustified? Or they just is this the thing that Black Twitter does? They just kind of get mad over nothing, or do you feel like it's a trap?
I mean, look, man. If I'm in the financial industry, I like it, right? If you got money to invest, think about it. When you look at mortgage-backed securities, and so what happens with those is you might have 100 homes. Those homes are then packaged up and put into one box. And that box now has a value based on the interest and money that is being paid out of those 100 homes. And someone may buy that because now they know that they have a pretty sure, steady income coming back. And then they can possibly resell it over a given period of time or during that period of time. So you got to be, it just depends on the reason or rationale or why they're upset, because extending the years that you can actually pay off a home opens the door up for more people to be able to purchase a home.
That's crazy, man. The whole shutdown in general, 43 days, the longest that we've had in history.
Right.
What were they even fighting about, for real? Like, we hear so many conflicting reports. What was the fight about?
Man, it really started off with insurance. And so people talk about the rebates and the things that come with insurance. Who should have really been upset is rural America. Because I want you to think about it. Texas, you have San Antonio, you have Dallas, you have Houston, and I'm missing one. But you have 4 blue pockets. And when I say blue pockets, let's say Democratic cities. But these cities also have major resources and hospitals and nonprofit clinics. Well, if you live in far East Texas and you have one hospital, that hospital may not be able to function if the Affordable Care Act is not available, because now they don't get the funding that they need or the rebates that they need in order to continue to function and be out there. And that's one of the dangers of what was happening. And then not just that, but you talk about rising healthcare costs. You had people who were looking at paying $600, $700 a month that now would have had to pay $2,000 a month. And let me say this too. An increase in payments for anybody is hard hitting. I think I said before, I had a friend and they're a dentist, and they were paying $1,200 a month to pay back their student loans. Well, when they did what they did with the student loans, their payment jumped up to almost $3,000. Completely undermined their whole life. And so, that is something that people need to take into consideration. And that's somebody who has a great income. But there are people who don't have that type of income who are going to suffer if the government doesn't provide some of these rebates or opportunities to pay less for things that we need.
Man, to the next situation, right? Tory Lanez, and I'm throwing this at you.
Hold on, man. Before we go back, hey, man, shout out to all the TSA workers and all the...
Man, shout out to all of them, man.
Yeah, man, and all the government workers.
Shout out to my sister. She worked for the government. She didn't get paid for 43 days.
Yeah, man. God. Shout out to them, because I every morning, I fly every 48 hours.
Were you scared?
Well, never scurried, but
Getting a little nervous.
no, you know what, man? I felt. I'm not gonna give my secret away how I plan my flights,
Right.
But I was really happy to see these brothers and sisters out there continuing to do their job and continue to work in support of making sure that America kept running. Because if they would have shut down, I mean, everybody would have shut down. The country would have shut down. It would greatly affect our economy, our way of life at this point, because now you have goods and services or goods that couldn't go from one place to another if certain employees, government employees, didn't come to work. And so shout out to you guys who came to work, man, and salute to you.
Shout out to y'all, man. Like I said, my sister, man, I know it affected somebody in my family, so I know how the shutdown is no joke.
Yeah.
It's no joke, bro. So on the Tory Lanez, and I know we didn't prepare for this, but I got to throw this at you because I forgot he did appeal and lost the appeal, right? And so what they say, the 3-judge panel on California 2nd District of Appeal, they denied it. So he has to serve his full 10 years. Can he appeal again, or is that done? Once you appeal it, is it over?
No, it's not over.
Okay.
It's not over. I mean, what you got to look at, next time we come on, even if we got to do it by Zoom, I'll take a look.
Yeah.
Because he might have appealed based on ineffective counsel and saying that his lawyer wasn't prepared or didn't do what they needed to do, but you would have had to actually show that.
Gotcha.
Right? Like there should have been evidence that should have been used in his defense, and the lawyer didn't do it. And so you have to find and show that your lawyer absolutely sandbagged and walked you into the prison. That case is a very, very interesting case.
Why do you say that? I don't think anybody knows what happened.
This is the thing. Statistically, you have a better chance of a man owning a firearm and discharging it than a woman. And then if you really take a look at the women who were involved in this, they really didn't seem like those type of women. On the flip side, there are plenty of you guys out there who got guns who shouldn't have guns. Because ain't nobody trying to hurt you, ain't nobody coming after you, and you ain't got nothing nobody want. But you carrying a gun because something in society or in the genre says you should have a gun on you. No, that's not the case. And so that's one thing that hurts Tory in that regard. And the way they charged him is interesting too. But I think a large part of it had to do with the witnesses. And the witnesses basically stating that they were in fear of their life and felt like he could have actually shot them or was actually shooting at them versus just shooting into the ground as a warning shot.
Yeah, that's interesting because I actually met Kelsey like in real life, and she just seemed super cool. Like I never met Tory or Meg, but I don't know. It just like you said, I feel like that case is just very strange. That's just one of them strange situations where I feel like we'll never really know what happened. But
you know, the look, man.
Should he have testified? If you was his lawyer, would you have made him get on that stand?
Depending on how the case was going.
You see how the case was going.
It depends on how the case is going. I mean, people always think that they can get on a stand and they can testify their way out of something. But I've said it, I think I probably said it since the first day I came on here. When them bright lights hit you and the judge and the jury start looking at you, you know, people's voice start to crack and people start double talking and basically start lying on the stand because what they said an hour ago doesn't match up what they said now. And that's a problem. And you start losing credibility with the jury, you're done.
Can you clear up this myth for me, right?
All right.
You know how rappers always say, man, if y'all just shut up, then y'all won't go to jail. Like they make it seem like literally the only reason why these RICOs and things are happening is because people talk. Is that a true or false statement?
Very true. Very true. I mean, if we turn these cameras off and we did some illegal gambling in here with the cameras off, and somebody came and arrested one of us saying, hey, you guys were gambling when the cameras went off. Nobody can tell that but us. Nobody can tell that but us. So unless one of us say something, then they have nothing. What can they prove? We had some cards. What can they prove? We had some chips. What can they prove? You sent me some money. He owed me money. I let him borrow some money. I let him borrow it in cash. He cashed at me back. Do we have cards? Yeah. We play Jim Rummy or 21 or War, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can play cards. It's not illegal to play cards, but can you prove we were gambling?
Right.
No. And that goes back to the case that we started off with. That's why I think they mentioned Spring, because they don't have what they need. They feel like they're getting close. They're getting more information, but they need someone in Spring to testify to what he was doing there.
Damn, that's crazy. We were watching this video. Who was it that you found on TikTok? What was the name of them guys?
One of them was Amos, I think, and then the other one was just Jasper.
So these two guys, right? They go out and they bail women out. I thought it said ICE, but they just bailing women that have felonies out with the hopes of exchange of obviously dating them and taking it to the next level.
Right.
Is this illegal? Or is this a legal thing that you can do?
Hey, brothers, don't puffy yourself. Yeah, you're going to Sean Combs yourself in a minute, because, you know, you're paying and doing doing a favor in hopes of potentially getting a favor back. And it's crazy because this is what's really funny, because I think I saw this story. When you pay a bond, you get your money back. If once the case is done, right?
Yeah.
So now they pay the money to bond you out, but then they might also be keeping tracks on you, so that if you try to not go to court or do something that make them lose their money, they gonna snitch. And so that's ironic, because now they've paid. You say you're not going to court. They don't want to lose their money. You done already slept with them. And so now they done sent the girl back to jail that they done slept with because they don't want to lose their bond money. I mean, it just has chaos written all over it. And somebody potentially will investigate that and find a way to use a version of the Mann Act, even though it's not crossing state lines. Do they go to multiple states, or they just do it within their city?
Yeah, they probably just do it in their own city.
Yeah, so, you know, man, that's a bad idea.
He said, don't puff yourself.
Don't puff yourself.
Don't combs just, that is crazy, bro.
Yeah, man.
Let me ask you this. It was crazy, right? I'm just throwing things at you that I seen. There was a story that went viral, which I thought was real. A lot of men got really excited, where they were saying that men will now be able to file their kid as a non-custodial parent on the taxes, right? And it took the internet by storm, because they were basically saying if the mom put you on child support, then the dad actually gets to claim the taxes, right? But it led me to ask the question, why are the child support laws so bad for men?
Because it was so heavily, society is so heavily guy support it,
Right.
right?
Right.
You know, you got this guy and he smelled nice, looked good, and he goes out there and he has 10 kids. You know, his name is Robert Raw. Robert Raw is out here just raw everywhere. And he has all these kids. Well, if he doesn't pay child support for the kids and the mothers don't have the income in order to support the kids, who pays for the kids? You and I. And so the government is saying, if we have to pay for these children, you need to kick in on rent.
Right.
You need to do something. And so it's a way to make sure that men aren't out here just doing whatever they want and taking advantage of the situation and the fact that they don't actually carry the kid. So that's why they are like they are. And if I'm not mistaken, I'll need to double check this because you hit me with this out the blue.
Yeah, I did.
I do remember something in the tax code that was supposed to change.
Yeah, it did. So they're updating the. They went from 9,000 to like 11,000. I'll pull it up.
Well,
here.
no, it was something geared toward what you were saying as far as with the with fathers. So I'll add that to my homework to look into, or call one of my tax attorney buddies and confirm that. But I think there was something that they were looking to do that. I know, if I'm not mistaken, that's one of the reasons why he got so much male support during the election.
Oh, right.
It's because that was one of his stance. And I think that might have been it. That might have been one of his campaign promises.
Now, I ain't gonna lie. Now, if he would have did that, he would definitely had the male support because men be going through it.
Well, I think he was definitely talking about doing something like that.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm looking here. How did the courts treat? Yeah, for right now in Texas, it looks like it just upped the gap from 9,200 to 11,700, from what I see. But I don't know. It might be
So the old adage, cheaper to keep her.
cheaper to keep her. Cheaper to keep her.
Cheaper to keep her.
At one point, though, wasn't child support where you had to be married in order to get it? From what I recall, right? You couldn't. It wasn't.
I don't think so.
Got you.
I don't think so. I mean, we can always double check that, but I don't think so, because when you really look at relationships, not everybody gets married. It's not like at one point we were at a 90% marriage rate
Right.
before having children.
Right.
So I don't think it was ever set in stone that you had to be married in order to get it. Because if that's the case, that makes it even better for guys. Like, I can't marry you because what if we don't work out?
Right.
I'm going to have these babies with you, but I don't have to marry you because, I don't want to get settled down with having to pay another bill.
Right. Yeah, it seems like there's no real fair way to in either direction, it seems. So I guess the men just got to take that one on the chin, bro.
Brother, be careful. Like my dad said, man, be careful about who you lay with.
Yeah.
And where you put your seed.
With everything going on, right, with just the shutdown, and I think the shutdown's temporary, right? Like that's like it's temporary.
Till February, if I'm not mistaken.
Right, till February.
And then at that point.
And then it can shut down again, right?
Yeah, at that point, they are bringing back or making sure that the support for the healthcare, what is it? I want to say grants, but it's not grants. Subsidies for the healthcare bill are in place, because without it, the cost of healthcare goes up and just spirals out of control.
Right. Yeah. So the premiums, right? Because that's all I kept hearing. The theme is, well, yeah, they signed it, but it's an L for Democrats because they're going to double the premium for the poor people. And it's like, I guess they saying the rich people will get less premiums. I don't know what.
No. So this is the thing. For those who work for companies that have health care, that's their business model, right? So I know my model. I know my clients. And so I set my premiums kind of based on that model.
Right.
It's this model that is the exchange network, in which you have individuals who can't afford healthcare, traditional healthcare, and they don't work for anyone who provides healthcare. And small businesses can also make their employees go to the exchange. And so when you look at that, and going back to what I said, you know, what's the smallest town you know of? Like, give me a
Jonesboro.
Where?
Jonesboro, in Louisiana, where Lil Snoop was from.
Okay. How far away from that New Orleans is that?
Ooh, I don't know, probably like a few hours, maybe like 3, 4. Yeah.
So they don't have a Trauma One health center. They don't have, it's not enough people there for them to really have any multiple hospitals or healthcare providers. And because of that, they probably only have 1 or 2, and they receive subsidies to be there. If you take away those subsidies, they can no longer be there. For those of you in Dallas, you guys remember when they had the hospital off of Lancaster or in Lancaster. Well, when the money's not there, then the hospital can't be there, because the hospital still needs to be able to take care of the people. And if they don't have enough people with insurance coming in to make sure that they can pay, and there's not any government subsidies to help out, then those doctors and nurses and technicians aren't going to work for free. So that facility is going to close. And that's what is a major concern for the Democrats as they look toward making sure that healthcare is funded.
Okay, I got to ask you a question on this.
Okay.
Cardi B just had a baby with Stephon Diggs, but she's married. She's still married to Offset. The internet is buzzing about, is Offset legally the father of this kid?
Bro. No.
Where is everybody getting this from?
No, man. No. That was a hell of a sniper move. Like, if you wanted to piss somebody off and make somebody call a lawyer or fight you, that was something like, that's like saying your baby got to have my last name. Man, come on, man. Miss me with that. Miss me with that. You know, if anything, you know, he could be setting himself up for child support.
I was just going to ask the same thing.
He could be setting himself up for child support, but no. And he probably going to do something like make her do a paternity test. Like as they go through this, you said that they're still married. They're not.
They're still married. Yeah.
So as they go through the divorce process, he might make a judge make her get a paternity test by saying, I was still sleeping with her too. And I just need to know if that's my baby.
Okay, but how does that work, right? Because during the divorce, right, can't you say, hey, infidelity played a part? If you have a whole baby while we're pregnant, can that play a part in?
Right. Yeah, it can. But if I'm saying your baby belongs to me and I really want to piss you off, tell me as a guy, you're not going to be pissed that some other dude who know that that's not his baby is going to have a doctor prick your child and draw blood from your child to see if it's their baby when everybody knows it's not. You put my child through something.
Yeah. Yeah, now you're just being petty.
That's what I'm saying.
It's just being petty.
It's some petty moves that he can do at this point.
Yeah, that'd be King Petty right there. There's a streamer, right? This young streamer again. I don't know how I get this news. It just pops up on my feed. It's a dude named Cuffham, right? He was with a guy named Aiden Ross, and they were at a concert. Mm-hmm. I think it was NBA YoungBoy. I'm not sure, but the dude fell off the rail and bust his head wide open. Can he sue that venue? And what would he be like? Who's liable for that?
I mean, he should probably call 866-LT for me.
He got their money.
Yeah, he should probably give me a call, and we take a look at that. It just depends on the situation. So if you are on someone's property and they have unsafe conditions on that property. If you get injured, then there's a potential for you to have a claim against that organization or entity or person. And so if the rail was not properly installed, either the venue themselves or the company that put it together could be held liable for the injury to that person. Because a handrail should not fall.
Right.
Or you shouldn't fall through a handrail.
Right.
It's supposed to be sturdy.
Right.
And if it's a weight limit or something of that nature, it should have been some warnings or something placed on there. Because if not, you're subject to premise liability laws.
So, but theoretically, right?
Hold on, where did it happen?
It happened on stage.
No, what city? What state?
Oh, I don't know. I think Miami, maybe.
Okay, I was going to say if it's in Georgia, after the new laws that passed in Georgia, he'd be screwed.
Oh, why you say that? What happened?
Georgia had what they call tort reform. And so tort reform is usually a mechanism in which
Oh, it was Playboy Cardi in Florida. Yeah, it was Florida. Yeah.
okay, is a mechanism where they pull the ability for people to recover from liability claims. And so in Georgia, they had some major tort reform just happen. That's why voting is so important.
Speaking of voting, last time you were here, right? The voting happened, and it looked like the Democrats landslided the Republicans, right? What effect will this have? Right, because for those, what was it, midterms, or what was the?
Yeah, it was a pregame.
Okay,
It's the pregame, and so what you had this election cycle was almost kind of first half. The second half is going to come next November, and really seeing what the shakeup would be, and so everyone got a sense of what the landscape is right now.
yeah,
And so now everyone is turning and pivoting and trying to find out how can they either move forward if they are in the lead, how they can continue to stay in the lead. And if you lost, how can we recover and win the game at the end of the game, which is next November.
right. For me, right, there's this interesting story. It's a DoorDash story, right? I'm gonna break it down, so I'm gonna run through it. So, man orders DoorDash, falls asleep with his stuff out, with his junk out, right? The door is ajar just a bit.
Genitals out.
Genitals. Door is ajar a bit, right? DoorDash lady comes to the door. Instead of leaving it at the door like the DoorDash suggested, she opens the door, takes a video, posts the video. Now, she screams that the guy sexually assaulted her and puts a case on him. DoorDash then fires her, right? He then puts out the video showing that she walked into the house, obviously took the video, posted it. Now she's facing 2 felonies. Number one, what type of laws have been broken in this scenario?
Most states have passed laws that prohibit anyone from posting videos or pictures of you in the nude or having acts of sex, anything involving with sex and nudity, as a sex hate crime.
Yeah.
And so those cases are serious in the sense that, they came about because ex-boyfriends who had nude pictures of their girlfriends or videos, when they broke up, were posting them basically to make that woman undesirable. And there was nothing that anyone could really do because she would sue, she might prevail, but it was really hard to get it off the internet. And so most states came back. I can't remember what year it was, probably about, probably around 2017, 18, that they came out and started passing legislation. in which really looked at that to prevent people from doing that. In this case, she can't say that it's a protected act because it was not, he wasn't public. The
Right.
door wasn't jarred open. She couldn't film from outside the house. He had an expectation of privacy, which she invaded. And so she trespassed. You know, we got the sex hate crime situation going on. And so, and needless to say, what other charges she could be charged with based on that state's criminal code.
Can DoorDash be held liable because she worked for DoorDash?
Possibly. Possibly. You know, it's always difficult. I've actually had cases on both sides. I had a client who was shot as a delivery individual. I had a driver who was sexually assaulted before. I think I had one of the first Uber, I shouldn't say Uber, but the first ride share sexual assault cases in the country. And so, you know, these are things that happen because you have a situation where you really don't know who is in your vehicle or who is delivering you in their vehicle. Many of us have had situations where we have had food delivered to us and it said Tom, and the person who walks up to your door is Alice.
Right.
And vice versa. And you look in the car and you don't see Tom.
Right.
And you're like, okay, how are you delivering food to me? And that's not you.
Right.
And so that's something that these apps and these companies have a problem with on a regular basis.
Man, you know, it's crazy. When you talk about like the ride share, we've seen so many different crazy things happen with the ride share. We've seen people get stabbed, shot, sell dope out of a ride share. We've seen like how much liability is on the ride share when in things like that, you know, like when you got crimes being committed with the ride share people.
Man, I'm gonna say a lot. I mean, you have created a company and entrusted these individuals to care for the care and safety of others. What mechanisms do you have to ensure and to protect the general community? And so, yeah, they have a lot of responsibility in that regard in order to do that.
Should we as a people be jumping on class action lawsuits? Like, I've always wondered about that. Like when they send an email and be like, hey man, were you an AT&T customer? Do you want to jump on this class action lawsuit?
Yeah.
Oh, you should. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean,
If you're a part of it, I mean.
I'm not just saying that because that's what I do.
Got you.
But people always complain about the legal system being about money, especially the civil portion. That's only because there is no other remedy.
Got you.
There's no other remedy, right? I can't because those companies, a cell phone company stole $5 from every client over the last 6 months. I can't make the company shut down. That's not feasible. I can't beat them up physically. That's not feasible. So the only thing that you can do in order to make them understand that they've done wrong is to hit them where it hurts, which is their pocketbooks. Yeah. And the other part of that is giving people a sense of justice. And if you should, let me say this. Anybody who's from any community that is considered rough around the edges, people got killed over 25-cent bets or owing somebody $1. Damn. That happens.
Yeah.
So a corporation can steal $1 from you and you let them walk because it doesn't mean that much. you should have, what do they say? You should carry that same energy both ways if you're gonna carry it. And corporations should have to pay you not just your dollar back, but maybe they need to pay you too.
Right. Damn. With AI right now, right? Let's say I'm just curious how you would defend this. You're Larry the lawyer. You look up one day and you see Obama on your body, or just like this is clearly me, right? How would you defend it?
Obama,
Like somebody, you know how like they're putting Tracy Ellis Ross on these like stripper bodies, like
Oh.
you see what I'm saying? Like they're literally taking. Like I seen a girl be like, "Yo, that's me. Like it's my body." Like
that is, the law. I'm dealing with some of that now. The law on that is going to be interesting and quickly changing because you have the same issue with music. We find it entertaining on some platforms where you have AI that has converted rap songs to blues songs. That's still someone's creative.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
That's fire though. Oh, they about to take that away from us.
That's somebody's livelihood.
Have you heard Pound Town with the blues though?
Once again, that is somebody's livelihood.
That should be better than a regular song, bro.
Man, but it is still someone's livelihood.
Right.
And you have to be very careful. I mean, let's just say, for example, you wouldn't want somebody to take your podcast,
Right.
remix it, and then have more views than you,
Yeah.
and then monetize it.
Right.
You be like, whoa,
Hold on. You're right. Yeah.
slow your roll. These cameras cost money. We got a brand new light in here. I'm snitching. You got a brand new light in here. You're doing all kinds of things, man. Improving, brand new microphone, And so do you want somebody to take advantage of your creativeness
Right.
and monetize it? No.
Yeah, that's a good point. I always wonder, how does it get to the point where it's just the wild, wild west? Like we've never seen nothing like this. It's like it's almost like the law is trying to catch up.
It is.
How does that happen?
It is. The law is trying to catch up.
But how does that happen? Because what happens is there's like, let's say there's Instagram pages, there's social media followings built on these things, and then one day it might just come to a screeching halt, and that's kind of unfair too, right? Like how are they able to build a chat GPT yet there's no law behind it? That doesn't make sense to me. Like
it does, and I'm finna help you out.
Right.
For those of you guys who are, I'm gonna say 35 and up, there was this little thing called Napster.
Yeah, I remember that.
Napster allowed us to download music off the internet. So what happened was people would take CDs of their favorite artists, save it to their computer, and then upload it to not a cloud, but to a server. Then others would be able to go to that exact server and download the music.
Peer-to-peer networking.
Exactly. And we thought that was the greatest thing.
It was at the time.
And then what happened?
The
government
music industry
can't-
came and shut.
Exactly.
They had to though.
But that's
Yeah,
just-
you're right. That's funny that had irreparable damage on the music industry. I think we're still paying for it right now with the whole streaming thing. But they literally ushered in streaming.
So what I'm saying is you're correct,
Yeah.
and I'm correct.
Right.
You're correct in that the technology is moving faster than the
laws.
laws.
Got you.
And so
Damn.
it's people like myself who are looking into this and looking to see at those individuals who've been harmed and what are some of the remedies that they may have in order to recoup some of the money that they lost.
I was gonna say, because it sounds like another class action lawsuit. Bing! Zoom in on him. This class action lawsuit sounds like it might be in the billions of dollars, though. This sounds like a really, really, really expensive.
This one really wouldn't be a class action. It would be a class action is really a group of individuals. Okay. This is more of a business to business litigation. And so even though they might be small, they might not be Sony Records, but these individuals who have these websites, it's going to be interesting because now you're going to have potentially Sony and I'm just using it as an example, Sony, not yours. So take it and run with it. I'm mentioning your record label, but record label A might end up suing social media platform B because they allowed for it to run. That's why, if you think about it, on some of the platforms, if you go live and it picks up that you're playing music, or even if you're not going live, if you picked up copyrighted music, they'll shut it down. Yeah. Because they have to protect their interests, because if they allow it to happen, then at that point, they too become liable.
Whatever Disney got going on, because you can have a Disney show in the background with no music on and it'll shut down. Like it's some people's protections are way different than others, though.
Man, I actually met Walt's daughter.
That's crazy.
And I told her, I said, you do know you might be the most famous royal family in the world, because Disney movies are played in every language and have been seen by every kid. And your family started that and has continued to do that. And she was a really nice woman. I mean, one of the sweetest people I've ever met. And to be that wealthy as well as that important to the world, she was extremely grounded.
It's crazy, bro. Yeah, when you start thinking about Disney, jeez, bro. Tell me about this Roblox thing. And I want to say it was somebody that was working on that was at the convention, right? Yeah, I remember that. So Roblox, can you break down the Roblox child pornography thing that's going on?
So Roblox is a case, and if you have a child in your home that has been affected by this, by all means, please reach out to me. You can contact us. You can contact me at the Real Life Lawyer on Instagram. You can go to Tailor Made Conversations on YouTube, but reach out because it's serious. And so what happens with Roblox is that you have these kids in a lot of social media platforms or gaming platforms. You have these underage kids that are on there, but you also have pedophiles who have taken advantage of getting on the same platform of gaming systems. And these gaming systems are monetary. They use the same premise as gambling to get people addicted, right? You know, I was playing Madden on my phone and decided to look up how much I had spent on, buying equipment and, buying Walter Payton and all this other stuff.
You had to buy Walter Payton?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's $4 here, $5 here,
right?
$19.99.
Yeah,
here.
you look up, you just spent $200-$300.
No,
easy.
Brother, I looked up, I had to spend almost $1,000.
Yeah. That's why I had to get off the phone. The phone game, to be honest with you, I think the phone games might be killing the regular systems. Cause I'm like, bro, I'm like you said, I spent $1,000.
Because it's so accessible.
Yeah.
I'm watching my daughter play volleyball and I'm playing Madden in between sets, and I done spent $25 during her game, right? And so Roblox uses that same premise. And what happens is this is where they get to, you have teams and they have groups and societies. And so people message others and it's like, hey, guys, I've had a great week or something like this. So my mom gave me some extra money for some allowance.
Yeah.
Does anybody want to trade or anybody need to get XYZ? Or you pay attention to kids that aren't upgrading.
Yeah.
And so you privately send them a message and then you start asking for pictures. Hey, if you send me a picture in your underwear, I'll upgrade you to Zelda or do something of that nature.
No, hell no.
And so they start
What?
doing that, and then all of a sudden it's to catch a predator. You know, hey, look, if you really want this, meet me here. Where do you live? Send me a video. Or in some cases, they send pictures to the kids. And so that's what the whole Roblox litigation is about, is because you have pedophiles out here taking advantage and reaching out to kids. And it's something that my firm is very serious about prosecuting. We do a lot of sexual abuse cases. And so if any of your viewers who have been affected by this or have a family member that have been affected by this, I ask that they give us a call and see how we might be able to help.
Well, just, like I said, you do this on a daily basis. What are some of the things that we need to be looking out for? Are there any, the New Year's coming up? Are there any new laws that have changed that we need to be aware of? Just from what you've been dealing with, can you speak to any of that?
I'm going to say, man.
Hold on. Hold that thought, buddy.
We don't. This is our space. If you got another.
Okay, I do not. But here, let me dump it real quick. Oh, wait. Are you recording on the microphone itself?
No.
Okay, hit the record on the microphone. I got this one recorded. Yeah, just in case, because I forgot we can do it right here and we good.
What's up?
No, you
Oh.
Just hit that little button. No, just hit the and then turn red. Yep. And then I'm gonna plug this in to where it's always recording. It should always be. It's always on here. It's just that Roblox shit is crazy. No, but I learned about it through his conference. I went to his conference to record, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
I sat there and I watched all the videos on that.
Yeah, that shit's sick.
They go super deep. It's really wild.
Sick.
It's been going on since I was a kid. It's really wild.
Whoops. I think what did I do? Nope. So yeah, we're doing this. I'm actually doing those cases.
Sick people. Roblox is a sick corporation. It took them months before they got the first one, like the first ever like pedophile game that they had. It took them months before they even considered taking it in.
That's the problem, and that's the problem.
That's why New Orleans, or no, the state of Louisiana has been suing them for $200 million. I watch that stuff all the time, so I'm like, Nick's little brother, that's all he ever plays is Roblox. So I'm like, we gotta be.
Yeah, you gotta get off that mode.
Yeah, you got to pay attention to that.
Okay.
You ready?
He's not talking to people
Yep.
on there. Like that.
Cool. All right. 3, 2. Okay. Yeah. So reset the question. Man, are there any, you being in the field, right? And you dealing with law and things like that. What are some of the new things that we should be aware of?
I think you got to be really careful about what happened with the Sean Combs trial. So, you got to think about it. It's going to be these parties that are going to be happening. And you got to be careful about, flying people in, doing this, doing that. And you got to be very, very cautious about how you're stepping at this point. I would definitely caution you on that. We got to take a look at what military occupation is going to be out there at this point. If you're in DC, are we going to have to worry about the military and ICE and all of these armed troops being on the streets?
Right.
And so I just caution everybody to be extremely careful and watch, as they say, watch your six and make sure that you don't put yourself in a situation. So having a drunk night, if you get drunk, you get to talking loose and slight and slick. you might want to do something at home with very few people. And just be careful, man, calling 911 on a simple situation. Because a lot of times when you see these incidents happen, it's a simple argument and somebody kind of is slow to leave the house that you end up calling 911 and somebody ends up losing their life. And so we just have to be real careful about how we use law enforcement, especially during this time. If it's something that is absolutely dangerous and outside of your scope, you definitely want to make sure that you call and get assistance, because we don't need that person causing any harm to you. But we got to make sure that we're a little bit more cautious in how we do that, because those parameters that should be there to prevent people from getting hurt, whether it's mental illness or anything else, they just aren't there anymore.
Right. And lastly, you did predict, on the verses, Cash Money versus No Limit. You predict the Cash Money. Are you still confident with your pick? No Limit put belt to ass.
Did they?
Where you? I did. I was with No Limit, so I'm gonna have to say. I'm gonna say that because I was with them and I felt the energy. I was on the stage with them, so.
You said, "Oh, No Limit put belt to ass."
I feel like No Limit put belt to ass. Me personally, yes. How did you feel about the battle? And be real, bro. It's okay. It's okay.
Man,
if you took the L.
you know what? I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I really don't. I'm just happy that those two companies were able to do something. I'm happy that Master P was able to show Black artists and rap artists that they didn't necessarily need a record label to support them in order to become who they are. I'm happy that Birdman was able to create the empire that he created, that is continuously grew and spouted out Nicki Minaj and Drake, Tyga, and other artists. And so I'm just happy that these brothers were able to do something positive with their talents and show people that there's another way. So regardless who won, you know who did win?
The fans.
And hip hop.
That's a big fact. Real quick also before you leave, the fact that hip hop has kind of fallen off the charts completely, is that a good or bad thing for hip hop, do you think?
Bad. I think hip hop, and I'm probably get some hate for this, but hip hop lost its way when it started really buying into, I'm not gonna say any names, but some of these artists who ended up getting murdered. And what did they call a rap? The rap songs that all they do is talk about drill.
Yeah, drill. Yeah.
When hip hop went to drill across the globe, it lost its lure. Because you know why? It became dangerous to monetize it. How can I have a drill artist in a concert arena with 30,000 people who are living or believing they live that lifestyle? That's a problem.
Yeah.
It ain't like it was when I went to go see LL and Salt and Pepper.
Right.
Like, I'm up here doing the wob and like, girl, your bangles fly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And she's like, ooh, you got on the Z Cavalricci's. And we like, you my girlfriend type stuff. Now, you walking in with 30 dudes and you trying to figure out who holding.
Yeah.
And trying to see if you see something. Nah, man. That's when hip hop lost its way.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Common's song about hip hop is dead on. But now it's a new verse, right? Because now she chefed off the West Coast in the 90s. And now she done put on the drill in the 2000s, and she worse than she was then.
Right. I don't know if we ever touched on Drake's lawsuit against the UMG kind of getting dismissed. I don't know if he's going to appeal or not, but he was fighting the fact that he feels like Kendrick was using bots and the record label was helping in assisting in pushing his song and making it more viral than it really was, right? We're starting to see that a lot of people ain't selling the same after that lawsuit.
Man, I'm gonna tell you something.
Smoke and mirrors?
Possibly true. Possibly true. Because they've been talking about bots and streaming, more than anything. But I just really think it came down to hooks. Right?
Right.
That Not Like Us hook was catching, even though some people felt like Drake's words were more battle rap worthy, right? And so it might actually change battle rap, because battle rap is basically me talking about you nonstop. It ain't really about hooks,
Right.
And so it could be a very, very sad time in battle raps as far as that goes. Because I'm trying to think back to the Kool Moe D LL Cool J battle about Mama Said Knock You Out,
Right.
and the Wild Wild West. I guess those were kind of hooks too. So maybe I might be reaching on that one, but man, a good hook is like a good hook.
Yeah.
So and Kendrick had a better hook on that, but I think Drake was really more in the mindset of battle rap as it is been commercialized now. Like when you have rappers go against each other on YouTube and things of that nature.
Yeah.
He was more along those lines with no hooks and just facts.
Speaking of that, before we get out of here, Trump is allegedly gonna probably pardon Puffy. What would that mean?
Absolutely nothing. They have really changed the pardon game. And I'm saying everybody, because Biden not only gave pardons, but he gave pardons for future crimes. So, like, if you haven't been charged, you haven't been convicted,
Yeah.
but you're being investigated and could be charged for something, those things you are now blessed from. Because you got to remember, there was several people who were in Trump's administration's bullseyes, and he basically said, as soon as I get in office, I'm coming for you.
Right.
And I'm coming for you on these issues. And so they preemptive and basically said, okay, you're pardoned for anything that may involve your dealings with this.
Wow. So Trump's a good friend then.
Bro. Well, Biden did that.
Oh, okay.
Biden did that, but the thing is, man, look here. Brother, if Trump was to pardon Sean Combs,
Yeah.
that dude, just think about what he could do music-wise. Because the problem that Trump has is nobody won't let him play their music. Now you Now you're gonna see Trump coming out to
Biggie.
Yeah.
About all the Biggie songs.
All the Biggie songs. He gonna come out Harlem Shake It.
Would Puff be looked at as a hypocrite? Because he was a vote or die. He was the vote or die guy. You know what I mean?
Man, look here, bro. Look here. I'm trying to think how I can put this. If a sheep was let go by a lion, that same sheep might very well say, You know, this line, it's a good line, right? Now, he might be eating other sheep, but as far as I'm concerned, my man's solid.
Right.
He did me a solid. So, I mean, that's just human nature, unfortunately, in that regard. I just can't see Puffy or Sean Combs getting pardoned and not being in support of this man. And tell you the truth, he could set it up where it's piecemeal. Right. Like you get a partial pardon, like I'm letting you out of jail, but I'm not clearing your record. But you do this for me, then before I get out of office, I'm wiping it clean like it never happened.
Trump moving like an 80s gangster, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Well, that's where he's from.
Yeah.
So 2 movies people should catch if they really want to see and get an understanding of Trump. I think it's the Lee Cohn movie, documentary.
Okay.
Because it gives you really insight behind the man that the new Trump movie, that Trump idolized and took a lot of his lessons from. But it gives you more, because this dude was so cold. He prosecuted the gay community in New York, even though he was gay. And he was a big part of the whole communist, how should I say it, persecution, prosecution during the days. He was basically snitching and telling on his own people. So this dude was a piece of work, and this was Trump's mentor. And so if you really want to get a good look, and then check out the Reagan documentary with that was narrated by his son.
Okay.
It's really, really, those movies, those documentaries together, and along with that movie, you'll know everything you need to know.
Yeah, I'm gonna check all of that out. I ain't gonna lie to you. And we might come back on the next episode and talk about it. Yeah. I gotta ask you this before we get out of here, and I notice I've been saying that. Give me one conspiracy theory that you feel like is really a conspiracy theory.
That's really not?
That really is. Like a conspiracy, something that people say is a conspiracy theory that you feel in your heart really might be, like people say the moon landing ain't real. And a lot of people believe it.
That's a good question.
Even though there's data to suggest that they were there, but it's still like, nah, we not rocking with that.
My last one was proven correct. You know, my boy Ben is working that case, representing Malcolm X's family, in the fact that the government actually did have a role in his assassination. And so that would have been one of them, but that's kind of been shown to be true now since they released
the files and
the records that show that did happen, or that the government did have a role in it. I don't know, man. I'm just, I always like throwing this and messing with people on this one. Nobody ever saw Tupac's body.
It's a fact, bro.
Nobody ever saw his body. I mean, we saw
That's a good point.
We saw Michael Jackson's body get rolled out of the morgue.
Right.
No one ever saw Tupac's body. Biggie had a casket.
Yep.
No one ever saw Tupac's body. They say he dead. Oh, he buried. Or he's cremated.
Yeah.
Did we ever see?
Yeah, I don't know, man. And the music afterward was hitting kind of is like,
I'm just saying. But you know what, man? I got a conspiracy theory that I want us to debunk.
Okay.
People of color don't vote. I want us to break that conspiracy and make that an absolute lie. Because if you're going to do something, now is the absolute time to do it and let your voice be heard. And don't don't vote because of emotion. Vote because it's the right thing to do. And I tell people that right now, the temperature in this country is an all-time high.
Yeah.
You know, I thought I lived through the most racist part of our history, right? I was around before Dr. King's birthday was a holiday. Now you have situations where people are being attacked. And so when I say vote to do the right thing, let's turn the temperature back down and then let's figure it out.
Yeah.
So, you know, especially us brothers, man, stop being mad at women because they're doing the job that we're supposed to be doing. Or should I say we should be doing with them.
Right.
Right? We should be out registering people to vote. We should be out there knocking on doors instead of being home on Saturdays watching football or Sundays watching football, because what are you going to do when you can't watch football?
Right.
You know, what are you going to do when your boss can fire you and literally say that I don't want any more people in my company looking like you, and it's no longer punishable? You can no longer bring a lawsuit because my firm does those lawsuits. Employment law is changing, and it's getting very difficult for us to be able to get justice for people who were fired because of their race or sexual orientation.
Wow.
So vote, man. Vote.
Man, on that note, man, where can they find you, Larry?
They can find me on the Real Life Lawyer, spelled with a Y.
Yes, indeed.
You know why? Because it's not about I, it's about you. And so they can find me on Instagram. They can find me on Facebook. And then they can follow us on our podcast, on Tailor Made Conversations, on YouTube. And you can always go to the website at tailormadelaw.com. And once again, if you have a family member or anyone who has suffered from sexual abuse, give us a call, and then check our podcast out, because we're about to start a series 2 on issues that, especially health issues, and how our skin color has been used against us and not allowing for the proper health care to be provided. And so we're about to do a series on that. So follow us.
There you go. And you already know this is the best part. Real life lawyer, Larry, you are a real life 3-star, man. Let's go. Yes, sir.